I'm not going to stream it to YouTube because if I get frozen again, I don't want to be on YouTube frozen up. But let's share a screen here. So,
Ike, where's your Mercury?
it's in my sixth house.
Interesting.
It's in Scorpio. Yeah, between Scorpio and Fucus. Here we go. So this is
It starts
the
on the
new
third.
moon we got coming up. Say it again.
I said it starts on the third. The new moon actually starts on the third.
Yeah, it says here 5 a.m. So it's that evening of the third. Yeah, you see. So it's probably going to be, yeah, you'll see it that evening. That makes sense. But yeah, I mean, I was racking my brain just trying to figure out everything here. I don't know if you guys see this, but we got a crazy T-square like this with right here, Chiron, Pluto. We got another one with Venus, Mercury, Uranus, with Lilith, which is kind of wild. This looks like, yeah, like those bat wings. Then we got this grand trine here. Then it has this kite kind of situation. It's got another one here. You see all this? Like, you see why I'm so confused? And then you got another sextile here, and then another kite but this is all supporting. So you see all of that? Can you imagine trying to figure out what the hell is going on here? So,
Wow.
yeah. Um, so what we'll do is we'll break it down one by one, I guess, right? So
Freezing.
yeah, and everything is connected, and that's why I was looking, and it's like a big web. So the first thing I like to do when things are confusing like this is just figure out what looks good, so that way we can focus on that. Because there's a lot of T-squares, so it's like, all right, well, let's start with, well, what's our purpose here? So we can see we have a really sweet grand trine here, and it's connected with the galactic center, so we like that. And then it's connected with I'm not mistaken here, am I? Yeah, Venus and Mercury. So that whole makeup here. And then Chiron, the midheaven. So this to me is clearly, plus Mercury goes in retrograde, right? So this is totally some galactic healing energies. This is what I've been working with the whole Gnostic information, the whole Nagamati library. This is Ophiuchus is in the galactic center, but this is also where they say this is the pleroma, which is where divinity comes from. So we're operating on some divine level here with healing. And it has to do with Venus and Leo. And that's also part of that T-square. You see that with Lilith. So this is that whole Lilith energy we've been talking about with the suppressed feminine. So there's something going on here because this is heart energy, heart Leo, heart Venus. This is Mercury, communications of the heart, tuning in to the to the to the information of the heart energies. So that's kind of what we got with this grand trine. So we like that, right? So we want to focus on that. The pure heart energy from the galactic center to Pleroma. To in the name of healing, Chiron, Pisces, healing of the age that we're in. So how many of you can see that and agree like that's kind of what we might be looking at? You guys see it playing out? All right. And then so that's the one thing. That's the good thing that we can focus on, right? And that's the higher road. But then we got this going on here. We got this And I want to show you something that can break this here. I was looking at it. We got T-square. I mean, it's the IC. There's no planet there, but it is in Virgo, no, south nodes there. So we're still operating with remembering this divine feminine energies. This is what this relates to. The IC is ancestral energies. It's the roots. So I'm seeing that. Pluto retrograde, so Pluto is the shaman, Chiron, the healer. T-square, a major lesson, a major friction that will bring a lesson. So this is going on. So we gotta work with that, because you can see here Pluto is in between Capricorn and Sag, retrograde. So that's another confusing type of energy, because retrograde goes inward, so inward, outward. Chiron healing wounds, where the wounds retrograde, inward. So there's a lot of like movement around. Then this can be ancestral. It can be the lineage of the feminine, the lineage of the primordial mother Mary, the lineage of the Magdalene, the lineage of the Virgo, the lineage of the sky goddess Neith of Egypt. So it's like it can be anything. Because Pluto is revealing the shadows. So now I'm like, oh, great. Right? This is like something we gotta look at. And it's totally fine, but that's there. All right. Do you guys see that? Do you guys resonate? You see like what I'm seeing with that, right? And then we have this other T-square that comes down. This is something that you watch out for, but you have to remember the grand trine, the bigger picture. So now we can see the Venus and the Uranus square. The Uranus opposing. This is what I pointed out last time. I might have taken that star out because I had too much information, but oh no, here is Algol. Algol is conjunct Uranus, opposing Lilith. While Lilith is in Libra, this is what I look at as the hall of two truths of Ma'at, searching for cosmic balance and order. So that's what I see this Lilith going through, and it's 13 degrees. We work with the 13th zodiac. So now we're kind of seeing the 13th hour with Lilith in Libra. Kind of, what are you going to do with this suppressed feminine energy that's being uncovered? Uncovered because we're dealing with Mercury, uncovers. Uranus and Mercury will bring it out into the light, broadcast. Venus, the feminine part. Then this is all square. And Algol is Medusa. You guys know that, right? Algol is the eye of Medusa. And I might have shared, if you watched one of the last videos I did, I had my own experience with Algol before I knew what Algol was. Because I was stargazing and I kept feeling this weird entity on my back, on my neck. And it's like, what the hell's going on? I feel like I'm being watched. I feel like I'm being about to get attacked. I thought maybe it was like, because where my stargazing camp is, there's a lot of wolves. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna get fucking eaten up. so I'm like, shit. I kept looking, and every time I looked back, the only thing that stood out to me was this really odd star. It was low in the horizon, and it was just was like, it was like an eyeball. It felt like an eyeball, seriously. And I didn't know what I was looking at. I'm like, that looks like a weird eyeball. That's what I said to myself. I said, I wonder if that's what's going on. So then it happened like 3-4 times, and I'm like, all right. So then I went to my computer and I went to the software, and then I saw a bright star that was there, and I hit it, and it landed, and it said Algol. I said, what is that? And I started looking it up and all the lores of Algol, and that's the eye of Medusa. So I'm like, okay, this is real, So that's what the ancients must have felt when they were looking. Because if you look at Algol, it doesn't look like a head of Medusa. It doesn't look like that. But it's the vibration. Something in that part of space has the vibration that It was creepy. It was eerie. So that energy is now opposing the Lilith. And not to be confused with dark moon Lilith. This is Lilith, the asteroid, which represents the suppressed feminine. And the little bit that I know about Lilith is that she was supposed to be, or known as, the first wife of Adam. It wasn't Eve. Eve is some other distortion. So it's Lilith was his first wife. She was the divine feminine.
Mm.
That's an interesting story. So she's been suppressed, obviously, right? And that's what we're looking at. So it's like, oh, fuck. Then Algol is at play. Uranus, spark of awakening, hits Mercury retrograde, which is confusing information, conjunct the Leo, conjunct Venus, the luminaries. Ancients also called these two planets Lucifer. This is a perfect cocktail of destruction if ye are not aware, right? Lucifer, Lucifer planets, like what the hell is going on here? That's what I'm saying. I'm like, geez, this can get really out of control if you don't know what's going on. So that's why we're looking at this, right? So are you guys hanging out with this? You seeing what I'm seeing? Am I being paranoid, or am I like, hey, I need your help? What the fuck is all this? Yeah.
My question is, which ones is all approaching? Approaching
Oh yeah,
energies?
all right, yeah, approaching. That's a good question because students need to know this. Let me get the disappearing pen. Hang on a sec. So how you can tell approaching is well, also blue is separating. So blue is releasing of the anxiety. So that's blue. A. See, when you see A approaching. So if we look at that grand trine, we have separating Venus, Uranus, separating Venus, Lilith. All right. So it looks like they're all kind of separating, which that's a good observation that Ramartef had, because that's what will help you ease. So we're probably in it now, and now it's releasing. Because so you guys understand what approaching A, when you see A, the numbers, and it has 5A49, means it's approaching, and it's within 5. It's just, what is it, 5 minutes? I don't think it's degrees. I think it's 5 minutes. Or is it 5 degrees, 49 minutes, or something like that?
Yeah,
So it's
5 and
future,
49.
5. So it's coming. So that when you see A, it's approaching. Like the blues are A's. I'm sorry, no, the blue writing here, like that sextile, that's a approaching. So that will bring more anxiety. And then separating, when you see the blue writing has an S. Hang on, I'm getting my pen. If you see the blue writing has an S like this, that's separating. That means the anxiety of the meeting is over. Now you have to deal with whatever came up. You have to deal with the reality of it. So that both are still issues that have to be dealt with, but the anxiety of the unknown sometimes is worse than the accepting of the known. So separating is the accepting of the known. Approaching is the anxiety of the unknown. And that reminds me of, what is it, Mark Twain, right? Or one of those messy hair scientist guys. I've worried about a lot of things in life, but only a few of them ever happened. That's approaching. Worry, but maybe it won't happen. Or maybe with prediction, you can prevent the worry, the outcome of what you worry about. Possible, right? So that's a good observation, approaching. Let me see with the Pluto Chiron one. What is that? Pluto Chiron. It's approaching anxiety with the healing work. So that's approaching, red, approaching. So, yeah. So that makes sense, right? Right. So that's the new moon.
Why are you saying anxiety a lot?
Yeah. Nothing about me.
What in the chart would make you feel like make you say anxiety instead of
Who, me? Who, I said that? Me? Who,
yeah,
me?
were you saying anxiety? Shut
Me, me? I have no, what's that word? I don't understand that word. What? Huh? What? Huh? Huh? Huh?
Well, what you're saying right now is interesting because today I went to the graveyard because that's like where I hang out, of course.
Yeah.
And a storm, it looked like it was coming, right? And I was
Mm-hmm.
talking to all the trees and I was doing my thing and I'm like going through my own shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they said to me, Spirit said, all right, hunker down because you're gonna sit this one out. You're gonna have to sit under this oak tree and it's gonna come through and it's
Yeah.
gonna tear ass and you're gonna make it, right? And so
Yeah.
I was like, all right, I'm ready for this, right?
Yeah.
And then as the storm approached, it like just dissolved and the sun came out.
Right on. Yeah.
So like what you're saying right now, it's like giving us this idea of like utter chaos and total destruction, but the light prevails.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I'm getting from what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of what I'm picking up on too. That's why it's important to look at it and see it, and then know what's causing all of this. And we're dealing with still Lilith and Algo is still playing this out. And then the Pluto and the Chiron is offering your shamanic, tuning into your shamanic energies to bring this deep transformation through these shadows. Because you saw that storm dissipated. Most storms do. I mean, we've gotten through pretty much every storm in our life because we're still here, right? So that's kind of like we get through it. So yeah, it's kind of what
Yeah,
I'm seeing.
the more interesting part would be once that whole bat head goes straight to the MC. That's when it's gonna
Yeah,
get interesting.
yeah, that also, I mean, we overlook we see all this stuff, but we have this in Cancer. This is the new moon is in the sidereal sign, the real stars of Cancer, which is known as the gateway of souls. And
Mm-hmm.
you know what? I had it queued up, but my computer froze and whatever. But if you guys look it up, Google it, in the Temple of Dendera, right where I found that 13th decan that was hidden, it's across the entire ceiling is the sky goddess Nut. And it shows where she eats the sun. It's the sun disk, Scarabaeus beetle wing disc. She eats it. Then you can see where it goes through her body. And she births it out. And you can see when she births it in her womb area, it's the face of Hathor with sunlight. Just look it up. You'll find it. I had it. I lost it. Normal. That's what happens. Then right next to it, it's so strange. And you got to find it. Look, totally out of place is a crab, right? Doesn't make any sense. It's a crab. That's Cancer. That's Scarabaeus. That's the earthly understanding of the crab. Is Cancer. It's and then you look up and you follow everything that I'm doing. The moon, Cancer, gateway of the souls. You follow the conspiracy theories and all of that, where the moon is not really real. It's a control station. Souls are sent here from Saturn to land on the moon to recalibrate and launch to Earth. It's the soul harvesting station. So no matter pick your story. Souls come from or get launched to Earth from the moon, from or the Cancer constellation, the gateway of the souls. So pick your story. It all lands with Cancer. And then you look at Dendera, out of nowhere, you see the birth of Hathor, and there's a crab just sitting oddly placed on this temple wall, ceiling. So just look it up, Sky Goddess Nut, Temple of Dendera, and you'll see what I'm talking about. And look at her foot, her section, the womb and the feet. Because a lot of times you'll see the hands like that, and then she's eating the beetle, and then it's the whole ceiling. Because we're under the firmament. She's the firmament. It's pretty cool. It's interesting stuff. So All right, so that's that. We might have to do this August thing in like 2 parts because the new moon one I want, and then I want to do the full moon one, and it's pretty like there's a lot of depth in here. So I just want to make sure I cover everything nice and slow, and I'm not rushed. So
What were the Lucifer planets again? I had something to
oh
say about it. I just want to know what that was.
yeah, that's Venus and Mercury. So these two, and then Leo. So this is what I'm saying. This is connected to the heart and the ego. But if you're operating on a conscious level, this can allow you to open your heart. But they did refer to both of these planets as Lucifer. But then, who knows what's the real story? But Prometheus is also that name as well.
Yeah, I see the Lucifer is more to me is he's also known as the morning star.
Yeah,
So
Venus is
it
known as
also
the morning star. Yeah.
yeah, and Lucifer is known as the morning star, and the story of him biblically is before he fell and became what we call in Judaism Ha-Satan, he had
Mhm,
all the musical instruments inside of him. He was an archangel,
mhm,
closest thing to God. So him, I don't see him as evil or this. I see it as a different level of enlightenment.
mhm,
And I know that I think it was yesterday we were in a Jack of Hearts, and the Jack of Hearts card actually you see one eye, so it's actually seeing one side of what's going on in the heart, and
mhm,
that you could be being asked to see it another way. And in respect to this time frame that you're going over with us, I see it as we'll see what's playing out in what we call linear time, but we're
mhm,
also being called to be aware of what's not seen or accepted in
mhm,
mainstream, and then
mhm,
merging that, like my sister was saying, she was at the graveyard told to sit this one out. I don't look at time as linear. I look at time as collapse. I think it's many things are going on at the same time. But if
mhm,
we just look at time as linear, we could miss the other things that are happening. So, like sometimes with me, I could get really stuck in
mhm.
what's going on right then, but then I have to almost have like spiritual yellow stickies to remind me that other things, are happening at the same time. And then there are parts of me that have been debunked. I embody the feminine. I'm born a woman, and the Lilith story is very true. That she
Mhm,
is the first wife of, in Hebrew, he's Adamwa or Adam,
mhm,
and then Eve, and then she's blamed for the forbidden fruit eating, although the command went to Adam not to eat of the forbidden fruit. But the world patriarch religion has put all the blame on the woman. So they get
mhm,
rid of Lilith, don't let you know who she is, but then they put all the blame on Eve for the forbidden fruit.
mhm,
So it's like, and then the Algol and Medusa, that whole area, that's beheaded. That's just not the voice being suppressed. That's being
mhm.
completely cut off from the neck. So I think that there
Oh,
is a
oh.
lot that we're going to come forward in, and the femininity is being asked to come back in its most authentic way. So I think that that's what, and even I want to say this really quick. Sorry for being so long.
No, no,
I
totally
am,
cool. Don't worry.
yeah, I have a degree. I have many of them, but one of them is in theology. I graduated and I became a rabbi of yeshiva. And one of the things that is something that you said is very powerful about the suppression of the woman. And literally in Judaism, in Orthodox, it's like it's worshipped that the woman can't read the law. It's like she's glorified in doing nothing.
Oh,
and
wow.
and
Yeah,
then we're
man.
also discouraged. We are literally discouraged to stay, and even in Christendom we are discouraged to stay away from the Gnostic gospels. They are seen as evil. Anything Gnostic is seen as evil, and that's within the religious institution. So
Yeah.
the fact that even that's a revival right now is saying that, the balance of things are coming up, and it's going to shake some things up. We
Mhm,
just, need to be in our whatever place we're supposed to be in as it falls in
mhm,
our houses and charts. But Gnosticism, oh no, no, no. I was trained very hard against it. Like,
Mhm.
don't even go over there. It's like all that's the devil. You know, it's
Yeah.
like all of that is evil and all of that's the devil. And that's what people do in religion. They
Mhm.
label it evil and the devil, and that's supposed to keep you away from it. But
Mhm.
there's a serious awakening because there are other things going on that
Mhm.
don't have the popularity or the notoriety, but it is still factual. And
Yeah.
even with the Egypt, I was studying magical Egypt on top of what I learned from you and looking at Egypt through a whole nother magical lens and
Mhm.
it being older than what they're saying. So a lot of things are I was looking at the geology and things like that of the stones and what happened to them, water damage. And so that meant that perhaps it went through the ice age, you know, the Sphinx being much older. So all these things opening up, I think, is asking us to have options and how we're going to show up while we're being aware, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah. This is
Yes,
the first
sir.
step. Not the first, but this is the path that we got to do. We got to just keep
Yes,
on
sir.
asking questions and then not yeah, I was afraid of all that stuff. Like growing up too, I was afraid of all that
Yes. Oh my
Jesus
God.
Christ stuff and all. I was like, oh, my grandmother would go to church all the time. I was just like, oh, please do not take me with you. And now, I'm learning of Gnosticism, and I'm just like, wow. And the 13th sign and all these things, and it was just like the Christos is not even a person. This is
No.
that you align with that will bring you to divinity, and it's aligned with the 13th zodiac sign, which I had no idea about when I started studying the 13th zodiac sign. I didn't know
Yeah,
it
or
was,
the fact that there is a mystical Jesus and a
yeah,
mythical and
yeah,
then the understanding of the Mary, you know,
hmm,
she's a symbol that's been suppressed as well, and there's so much to her. So all
oh,
this
big time.
suppression, you
Yeah.
know, and then rules and regulations, it doesn't allow the spirituality to take place.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. It's a real thing. Yeah, I literally
Hmm.
had like family, my stepmom. Well, I shouldn't say. Well, anyway, whatever. Her and his sister were like, "Tell me my astrology," and I give them all their astrology stuff, and I'm like, and they're like, "Oh yeah, cool, wow." And they're like, "But the Bible says astrology is evil." I'm like, seriously, but you just hang out with me for an hour? You hang out with the devil for an hour? Like,
Yeah, and actually,
That is
that's
funny.
the thing. It's a training. They're
yeah,
mentally trained to be that way, but the Bible does not call astrology evil. The church did. The
yeah, yeah.
church and the Bible are two different distinctions, but behind closed doors, the church uses astrology for
Mhm.
its institution of what they call paganism
Yeah,
in worship and the mixing of those things. So
yeah.
it's not the Bible that speaks against astrology, it's the religious rulers
Hmm.
who wanted to keep the people ignorant. You know,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
first
crowd
person that
control.
wrote the Bible for laymen to read, they killed him. So it was to keep the people ignorant, but they used astrology. They
Yeah.
used it. And you could not be a preacher, you could not be a minister, and you could not be a physician unless you studied astrology. That's
Hmm.
in history. So it's
Yeah.
like it's to dummy us down and to make us ignorant, to make us go through a man as opposed to experiencing our own spirituality is
Hmm.
a very treacherous,
Hmm.
dangerous thing that's being addressed. I think all the
Hmm.
alignments are addressing us to say,
Hmm.
no, you're spiritually alive yourself without another man, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. This is what's going on. Yeah, your Lilith is activated, huh? Dr. Jesus' Lilith is
Yeah, and you know,
activated.
and then even the manger scene, that's an astrological scene, you know,
Oh.
and the fact that the wise men came to see Yahshua ben Yosef or Yahshua HaMashiach, for those that serve him as God,
Hmm.
those wise men followed the North Star. So, and it wasn't three wise men, it was many wise men who came and they followed that star. So,
Hmm.
even that is astrology.
Hmm. Yeah.
They're
And
following the star.
and the term wise men is an astrologer.
Hmm.
Yes.
Magi. The Magi, magicians, Magi. You ever look? I took a look. I was in all places. It was weird. I was in Charleston, and right around Christmas, and I finally looked at the scene, the nativity scene, and they
Oh,
showed the Magi one of them was black with like blue eyes or green eyes, and he had a turban and he had a star in his head and he had a cape of stars. That's Zarathustra. That's like, and then Mary, you look at Mary, you ever look a real good picture of Mary? She has constellations on her cape. Yeah. I saw, I'm like, holy shit, this is crazy. And then you know what I heard? That the story of the three kings follow the star to the east actually is the three stars of Orion point to Sirius, which is the goddess Isis,
Yes.
who birthed Horus, and then that's the Mary and Jesus story. So follow the three stars to the bright star in the east, and then you'll find the sun. Because Ramutef knows that the heliacal rising of Sirius and our sun is literally the Mary and the Mary and the Jesus story, or the Horus and the
Mhm.
and the Isis story. That's why
Mhm.
Yeah.
other rise together. It's like all this stuff just comes in, and it's like a lot of times I hear all these people talking, and I'm just like all these like wisdom guys that are on television, and it's like, but
Hmm.
you guys don't do astrology. How are you applying this to enlightening others or your lives, other lives, or just talking about it? But when you apply all this stuff to astrology, it becomes something different. This is why sidereal makes a lot of sense, because you get access to this ancient star lore energy or knowledge, and that
Hmm.
helps you apply it to your own chart, and you go, oh, wow, I'm no different than these greats, you know. And this is what we're looking at. This is why this is Dr. Jesus has her Lilith activated. I did your Lilith reading. Your Lilith reading. It's
Yes,
like super activated. I
it
think that,
really is. And
yes, I
even
think that,
remember when you were in Egypt, you even showed us how when the conquerors came in, like they just put their stamp on top of things. You know,
Mhm.
they just put their, you know, you put your Christ sign
yeah,
on this temple. You didn't originate this, but that
yeah,
whole conquering, coming in, taking over, stripping, you know,
yeah,
it's just it robbery and you
yeah,
know, collaborating with being a robber of someone else's sacred. That's dangerous.
yeah. Look. You can Google. Maybe it'll show up at the Temple of Isis on Phila Island. That's the temple that I was in. That was the last temple to be closed by the Roman Empire, and there's a terrible story because they were able to continue their practice, their pagan Isis rituals for I don't know how long, but a long time, while Romans were just decimating all of Egypt. Because this is located in Aswan, way down by Nubia, and it's on an island. So there was enough time for them to get notice when the Romans would come up the Nile. But something went wrong. Obviously, there was some deception. But they had a sneak attack during one of their Isis rituals when all of the priests of Egypt were there. It was one of the big ones. And right then they were all killed right there. Boom. All of them done. And the temple closed. So and then you look at the temple, you'll see it like right above an Ankh symbol, you'll see like this Roman Catholic cross. Bam. You see like right in the middle of the temple, you'll see this like this altar, Christian altar. Like boom, with a really crooked cross, and it was so bad. It was such a terrible feeling I had when I was there, and that was the fall. That was the fall.
And just imagine what they did to the stuff that's already over here.
Oh
Mm.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So this is what's coming up for the new moon, people. We didn't even get into the full moon. I think it was a lot. We're gonna cut this off, but then we're gonna do full moon next time, and just I think what I want to do is the next meeting, maybe next week, we'll look at the transits leading up to the full moon.
Ike,
This is a lot of energy, huh?
um, question. So if you were to put like just a couple words on like what the new moon is like is,
Mm-hmm.
what would those words be?
Mm. Um. Uh. Tu- Tune in to your true primordial ancient source codes.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. The ancient ones, the ones that are inside of you that come up in memories and dreams, not anything that you've been told.
Okay.
The purity. So whatever that is, if you can have access to it, that's where you need to go. Because it's looking pretty grim. They um even the news, the Olympics, the shooting of Trump and all this and people celebrating that. I was just like, yo, this is out of control. We're literally celebrating people getting shot at and no, we have no feelings. Humanity is trained through the media to just shut their feelings off. They can shut feelings off. That's the capacity that the world is operating. They can shut feelings off to the masses. That's pretty scary. You can observe it if you watch closely. That's pretty scary, man. You know? So that's what I'm saying. Your primordial attunement. Figure out what that is, who you really are, your dreams of your cosmic dreams. Anytime you ever felt the cosmic awakening, that's who you are. That's who you really are. Those are the few words.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it reminds me of a line from one of my favorite games from Kingdom Hearts. And the line goes like, all worlds begin in darkness and also end. Darkness sprouts within it. It grows, consumes it. Such is its nature. In the end, every heart returns to the darkness whence it came. That's what's happening.
Oh wow! Right.
But
Wow.
but the interesting thing that I've learned in my spiritual journey when I became a star, I did go into the darkness and it was very cold. It was about 40 below zero, my body. And I thought I was gonna die. And the darkness that entered my body was so dark. And I was like, all right, here it is. Let's do this. And the longer I sat there, all of a sudden, like it like broke through the event horizon and what I was told in that moment was that every sun is connected to a black hole, and the black hole sucks in the dark matter and it creates the light. And then so after I sat there for long enough, all of a sudden this euphoric feeling came over my body and I felt better than I ever have in my life. And from that point on, now I can actually consume darkness and create light.
Oh, that's your primordial essence right there. That's it. Yeah. Phew,
That's the
pretty
gist
deep.
of Kingdom Hearts. To
Huh?
understand that's the gist of Kingdom Hearts. So what she described is basically what happens once you like they come to see the part of the world, and everybody believes it's darkness, but in all actuality, Kingdom Hearts was light.
What are you saying? King of Hearts? What?
Yeah, Kingdom Hearts.
Kingdom Arts. Yeah, I didn't.
It's a game. He's talking about a game.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Wow. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
ultimately, what I'm being shown with all the chaos in the world, ultimately, us people who are connected to this knowledge, that all the sacred knowledge of the stars, and we have all these beings like, guiding us. The darker it gets, the lighter it gets too. So we're gonna just keep being able to, um,
Mhm.
get knowledge to raise the vibration. So I'm not even worried of the chaos. Like I almost see like Denzel Washington when he was like Godzilla, like Godzilla ain't got shit on me. You know what I mean? That kind
Yeah. No, I'm
of
worried about other people. I'm worried about people that are in more control and power or perceived to be making these choices with ignorance, without this energy, without this knowledge. Like,
I don't think we have time for them. to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah, I agree.
that was a conversation I just had earlier. Oh, she's not here anymore with other Tracy. We had a mentor session, and I was just like, yeah, there's no longer time to wake people up or argue with them about can you see the light? Can you see the truth? That's over. Now it's about like, you just gotta like, it's a new level, man. I'm kind of like, whoa, what, this is a whole nother level.
Yeah,
You have to almost be quiet now.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
the
That's what I'm
scripture.
feeling.
Yeah, the scripture actually says, to confirm what you're saying and what Tracy is saying, the scripture says, to whom much is given, much is required. And a tree is known by the fruit it bear. And literally we're taught that if the tree does not bear fruit, we are to cut it down, but not just cut it down, we're to burn it. So literally those of us that are going through these different levels of going higher and being enlightened, we're burning things behind us. So we don't have time to sit and have the argument. I had someone come on my page and say, answer me, why are you not with her? You could hear the challenge in art to come and argue, to be distracted from what I'm really morphing into. I'm moving through the golden gates. I'm releasing into the silver gates. I'm putting my head back on from being beheaded. I'm connecting to my Lilith. Like, I don't have time to argue with you about something about politics. That in itself is a distraction from the spiritual evolution that I'm on. So I really cannot have to value my time is my insurance, so to speak. So I don't have time to argue with you. Now I could be right. I know how to win. I've been a part of debate societies and everything else, but that's not the essence of my evolution. That's an indicator that I need to remain on my path. I need to remain there. Like Tracy said, she was sitting in the graveyard. This is where you are. The storm is coming, but you sit this one out, So what is she supposed to do? Get up, start arguing with people, go find some? No, she had to sit that out. And I think that's what we're picking up on, is doing what we need to do, for ourselves, for our kids, and then staying consistent with that.
Right on.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. All right, guys, let's wrap this up. We'll do something next week. We'll just pick this up again, and try to journey through the new moon energy, and get to the full moon. Let's fill that one out.
Do you have
There's more
time
in
to
the
do
full
some
moon.
readings?
Huh?
Do you have any time this week to do some readings for us if we need something for our new moon?
Yeah. Maybe I'll send out this replay and throw out some links. I'll probably do
Okay.
offer 20% off for everyone too. Make everyone all juicy.
Okay,
So,
dope.
yeah. Yeah, I'll do that like tomorrow morning. Oh wow, there's a lot of chats. Have you guys been looking at the chats? I mean, there's people chat.
Yes.
Look at the chats when I'm chatting, and my mouse is All right, I'm not gonna answer anything on the chat. Oh, Chiron, where is he? Oh, Chiron Phoenix. Cool. What's up? Yeah. All right, it's just people chatting. Good. Okay, cool. All right. Any last minute questions or no? Okay. All right, look out for the email, the replay, and I'll put some links for readings and throw out some discounts. And we'll get you all tuned up and shit. All right, everyone.
Before we go.
Yeah.
So I need everybody to do this. If you're willing to do this, I need everybody to do this. So on the 3rd or the 4th, find out where Jupiter is rising in your area, and I need you to take a candle and light it for Jupiter.
Okay. While Jupiter is rising.
Correct.
Oh, why is that? What?
It's
Wait, on the 4th?
Yeah, you can do it on the 3rd or the 4th. Me, I'm doing on the 3rd into the 4th, but do it on the 3rd or the 4th. And I want you to find out in your zone when Jupiter hits the rising. I want you to look at Jupiter, tell it what you want. Light a candle, let it sit there. When the candle is done, the job is done. I'm just throwing that out there for everybody.
Okay, I like it. I'm picking up. What is that? I'm picking up what you're putting down. Yeah, Cairo. I'm looking at chats now, Cairo. No, is that to honor the gurus? I guess, yeah, I guess guru within,
Yeah,
yeah.
the guru within, correct.
Hmm.
Because I'm like I told you, I'm initiating the year of creation. So if you
Okay.
participate, just watch what happens, y'all. Just watch what happens.
Okay. Uh, I love
I
it.
like them.
All right, I can remember that third and fourth Jupiter. I got candles somewhere around here. I'm good.
Ike, where are you?
I am now in Florida, back here. I'm in Vero Beach.
Oh, okay.
I'm in I'm in a hurricane little cove here, so
Oh.
and it's freaking hot, mosquitoes, no-see-ums, humid, hillbillies everywhere. It's like no, this is a cool little place. I went to the beach yesterday, but yeah, it's definitely like it's an experience. Yeah, Florida is interesting. Yeah, yeah. All right,
Come on.
peace.
Yes, everybody. Happy New
Yeah, I'll
Moon
let
to
you know when I'm
everyone.
back. Okay, I'll be there at some point.
Okay, cool.
All right, peace, everyone. I'll see you next week. All right.